You ever scroll online and see one of those genius hacks for making your plant leaves super shiny, and you just have to wonder, is this actually good for the plant, or am I about to do some serious damage? Well, today on The Explainer, we are settling the debate. We're putting two of the biggest DIY solutions, lemon juice and milk, to the test. We're going to dig into the real science to see which one, if either of them, is the true champion of plant care. Okay, so here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll talk about why dirty leaves are even a problem to begin with. Then we'll put our two contenders under the microscope. First lemon juice, then milk. After that, it's time for the main event, the head-to-head showdown. And finally, we'll help you figure out which method is the right one for you and your plants. Let's do this. So first things first, why even bother with all this? I mean, isn't a little dust natural? Well, yeah, but it's about way more than just making your plants look pretty for a picture. This is actually fundamental to their health. Right. I want you to picture a solar panel just caked in a layer of grime. It's not going to generate much power, is it? It's the exact same thing for a plant leaf. That layer of household dust, mineral spots, whatever it is, it's literally blocking the sunlight that your plant desperately needs to create energy and, live. And that's the key process right there, photosynthesis. It's the engine that powers the whole plant. When that process gets blocked or slowed down, you get stunted growth, you get yellowing leaves, you just get a weak, unhappy plant. So a clean leaf is literally a productive leaf. And it gets even more interesting, because it's not just about blocking light. The surface of a leaf is covered in these microscopic pores called stomata. Think of them like the plant's lungs. They need to be clear to exchange gases. When they get clogged up with gunk, the plant literally can't breathe properly, and that just throws its whole system out of whack. Okay, so we've established dirty leaves are bad news. Now let's bring in our first contender for the cleanup, lemon juice. You see this one all over the internet, especially for one particular problem. But is it really the miracle cure people say it is? So what's the magic here? Well, it really just comes down to some basic chemistry. You know those ugly, chalky white spots you get on leaves? That's calcium carbonate, mineral buildup from hard tap water. The citric acid in lemon juice has a chemical reaction with those spots and just dissolves them into something you can wipe right off. It's a pretty powerful solvent. But, and this is a huge but, that same power that makes it so effective is also what makes it risky. If you're not careful, that acid can cause something called phytotoxicity, which is, a fancy way of saying it can give your plant a chemical burn, leaving behind permanent spots and damage. So if you're gonna use it, you have to be super careful. Step 1, dilute it. And I mean heavily. Think 1 part juice to at least 10 parts water. Step 2, gently wipe the leaf. And step 3, this is the most important part, it is absolutely non-negotiable. You have to rinse the leaves with plain, clean water afterwards. You've got to get that acid off before it has a chance to burn the leaf tissue. All right, moving on to contender number 2, milk. Now, if lemon juice is like a heavy-duty chemical cleaner, milk operates on a completely different philosophy. See, milk isn't about stripping things away. It's about adding something. It acts like a polish. The fats in the milk, the lipids, they leave behind this super thin film on a leaf. That film smooths everything out and gives you that beautiful, glossy, natural-looking shine. It's purely a cosmetic treatment. But yeah, there's a pretty gross downside here. That milky film is full of sugars and proteins. And if you leave too much of it on there, it can start to, rot. It becomes a perfect breeding ground for bacteria and mold, which not only smells terrible, but can actually cause diseases on your plant. So, with milk, the name of the game is moderation. You've got to dilute it, maybe 1-to-1 with water, and then apply the absolute thinnest layer you possibly can, wiping off any extra. You just want enough of those fats to create the shine, not a thick, sticky layer that's going to cause you problems later. Okay, the science lesson is over. Now it's time for the main event. Let's put these two kitchen cabinet remedies head to head and see how they really stack up. When you boil it all down, they're designed for two totally different things. Lemon juice is a cleaner. Its job is to chemically dissolve and strip away mineral gunk. Milk, on the other hand, is a polisher. Its job is to coat the leaf to make it look shiny. 1 strips, 1 coats. And this table really tells the whole story, doesn't it? If you're fighting hard water spots, lemon juice is the undisputed champ, no contest. But if you're just going for that gorgeous aesthetic shine, milk wins, hands down. But look at that safety risk row. Both are high. With lemon juice, you risk a chemical burn. With milk, you risk mold and a nasty smell. So it's a real trade-off, functional deep cleaning versus a pretty, polished look. So the big takeaway here isn't really that one is better than the other. It's that you have to pick the right tool for the right job, and maybe even more importantly, for the right plant. And this is super important. Not all leaves can handle this stuff. These tricks are generally okay for plants with tough, waxy leaves. Think your rubber plants, your monsteras. But you should absolutely, under no circumstances, use either method on plants with fuzzy leaves, like an African violet, or really delicate leaves like you'd find on ferns or calatheas. For those guys, a soft brush or just plain distilled water is the only safe way to go. So here's the final verdict, and it's pretty simple. Before you grab anything, just diagnose the problem. Are you dealing with stubborn white spots that are actually hurting your plant's ability to photosynthesize? Go with the lemon juice method, very, very carefully. Or are you just trying to get a beautiful glossy finish before you have company over? A super thin layer of diluted milk is your go-to. And while we're here debating these old school kitchen remedies, it's pretty cool to think about what's coming next. People are actually developing things like special enzyme cleaners that eat dirt without any harsh chemicals, or even anti-static coatings that could prevent dust from sticking to leaves in the first place. This whole debate might be totally pointless in a few years. It really makes you wonder, right? As our tools get smarter, will we become less like hands-on gardeners and more like curators of a perfect, effortless collection? Something to think about.